I just retired from the police department. I spent 30 years as a policeman. I retired 2 months ago.
How am I going to bust you now?
This is Ken Hrankowski, a retired police officer who plays poker by the book. In this video, we showcase his strategy and how much money he won against the pros.
Ace-9 of clubs. I will not. Raises to 1,500. Phil out. Jennifer out. Tony G with the 8-9 of hearts. Calls.
Tony G calling out of position and dominated.
Nacho, Queen Deuce.
Go on, Ken. One for the good guys. I'm rooting for you this hand, all right?
Flops 7, Ace-5, couple of diamonds. Hrankowski flops top pair. Tony with a G shot.
I'm scared of you, Tony, honestly. You see how you put on the table, like you're owning them.
I can't tell if that's sarcasm or an Argentinian accent.
He said it himself. He's owning people.
Testing out.
Yeah.
Tony G's bet 2,200.
Testing out Ken here, who has the best hand and certainly shouldn't fold for one bet.
And he doesn't, makes the call. Turn, 10 of clubs, and Ken Hrankowski adds the nut flush draw.
He's already got the best hand, so he shouldn't be too shy about getting some money in now.
I check then.
Tony checks.
Tony's now open-ended.
Save your money. I don't want to bust you.
That's why Tony's so dangerous. He talks when he has it, talks when he doesn't.
Ken fires 6,000. And Tony G calls.
Might be a little scary for the amateur.
River, King of Hearts, no help to Tony.
Not a great card for Ken, but not a terrible one either.
It's been checked to him.
You can bet it now. You're going to win the pot. Doesn't matter what you do.
Checking behind, totally fine here.
You got the ace.
And he checks.
Yeah. Good? Wow, that's good.
What a nice turn card.
And a club draw. That was a good turn. I should not have called. That was not a clever call. I'm the worst player against the loose cannon. If you want to play with me every hand.
Hrankowski, the cannon, pocket queens.
Let's see how the cannon does in his first OB 3-bet spot.
Raise.
He's going to OB 3-bet to 4,500. Tony G calls.
I got a defensive hand.
So that's what you call it.
Barbero out.
Hopefully that ace-king holds up for you. I worry about him all the time.
Man, is he terrifying.
King 9 Jack on the flop, 2 clubs.
Tony flops a gut shot, which is hard enough to make, but Ken's got 2 of his outs. Ken's got a gut shot as well. He may be a little afraid of that king, but he should continue here.
And does bets 8,200.
Nice bet. Tony with only 10 high.
You're going to fold ace-king? Could have 10 queen. I don't.
Tony G folds, and Ken's going to take down a nice little pot.
Nice hand, Ken.
Thank you.
Pocket queens for Hrankowski again.
Raise to 5.
Ken 3-bets to 5K.
I'd like to see a bigger raise, but he's in position, so whatevs.
What are you doing, Ken?
Action back on Hashem.
Thought we were going to be friends.
Makes the call.
I haven't played a pot with you yet. This is going to be good.
Just you and the world champion.
Hey, Phil's a world champ, too.
10 King Jack, couple of clubs, and overcard hits, but Ken with a straight draw now as well.
Go ahead, sir.
And Hashem checks.
This board might be kind of scary for 2 queens, but I think Ken could bet it if he wants.
I'm going to check it.
Checking behind, fine, too.
Turn 6 of spades.
Ken's hand does not improve.
And now Hashem fires at it, 7,500.
Hopefully Ken checked the flop in order to give Joe the opportunity to bluff at this turn. So Ken shouldn't necessarily fold right away, but also I don't think it's a very good spot for a raise.
Ken will make the call.
I don't hate this spot for Ken right now, but obviously we'd all like him to improve.
River, 5 of hearts.
Well, Ken didn't improve, and I'm afraid of facing another barrel on this river.
And Joe is reaching for chips. How big will the barrel be? 12,500.
Even though I don't love it, this is a pretty clear call mathematically. Ken's getting 3-1, which means he only has to have the best hand less than 1 out of every 4 times to be a winner in the long run. Still, 12-5 is huge for an amateur to make this call.
I call.
Thought you were never going to call.
What does Joe have? Jack 10 for 2 pair.
Whoops.
2 pair.
Good hand.
Is that good, Ken?
Yeah, it's good.
So he had you on the flop.
Yeah.
Ah, bad luck.
Hrankowski, pocket 10s.
Easy spot for a raise.
He limps.
Yikes, Ken must have been one of those renegade cops that played by his own rules.
Helmuth, King 4.
Pot. And then there's the other end of the spectrum.
Raises to 2,400. Tilly folds. Tony G out. Nacho Barbero, the Argentinian pro with 9-7. Kicks it in.
Maybe Ken will limp re-raise. That'd be pretty BA.
He does not, just makes the call.
Check blind.
Coming after me.
Now he checks dark, plays by his own rules.
6-9 jack. Ken is still best. He's checked blind. So Phil bets 2K.
Not a bad flop for 2 10s.
Hrankowski calls.
Yeah, that looks like your flop.
To the turn, another jack.
This changes nothing.
It could also be my flop.
Well, now it's the turn, guys.
Hrankowski checks. Helmuth fires 4K.
Not much left, buddy. I got 11-7.
Ken's game seems pretty passive, but you can't pedal the nuts. This jack really shouldn't change much at all. There's no hand beating him now that wasn't before.
You could have it.
Hrankowski folds.
Good hand.
Right. All right.
After that fold, I got a good mind to bust Ken back down to Sergeant.
Action on the cannon, pocket queens.
They'll call you. I mean, if you can write it all down.
Well, I think it's in the moment. We want to know what's happening.
I understand, Tony, that I understand that for some reason you are who you are and you are what you are.
Yeah, he probably had a very bad childhood.
Yeah, I think
I had
he
a
did.
pretty good childhood.
Well, I don't believe you.
Ken's raised it up.
That's what I can't understand, you people. Why does it have to be personal? It's just a game.
Tony's in to the flop. 10, queen 4, top set for the cannon, and Tony gets a piece.
Tony's got middle pair.
So action on the cannon, who has a hammer lock on this hand.
Let's see if Ken can come up with the right number to keep Tony in the hand.
Bets 4,800.
4,800? Pot's not that big.
Think Ken may have just blown his own cover.
4,800.
Tony folds.
Ken got a little overexcited and just got made.
He definitely did not make the most of that monster, but still adds 2,200 to his stack. Couple of jacks for the cannon.
Now Ken's gonna want to raise here to make sure he's not taking a flop 6 ways.
Those look like raising chips.
Raise 42.
Re-raises to 4,200.
Just look at that inner struggle. Daniel loves playing with loose cannons.
And not crazy about folding to begin with. Makes the call.
Story checks out.
Tilly with queen tray, and she'll have to ditch that, and does. Back on Nacho.
When the cannon's in the pot, the pros tend to play pretty loose. Pretty loose.
Barbero makes the call, and Joe calls.
Okay, we all wasted time. We did our little, every one of us, we did the, we know we're calling.
Yeah. Whenever you call, everybody knew it was.
We all know we're calling. It's just a little, we're trying to be like Jennifer Tilly there a little bit.
Well,
Actress.
oh, yeah.
4-way action. Jack, jack, tray, quads for the cannon.
Time to get back into deep cover.
Check.
Daniel checks. Nacho passes,
Joe might think he has the best hand.
but checks.
This board's fairly dry, so it's totally cool to let someone catch up a bit.
And Ken will check to the turn.
I like it.
4 of hearts. Daniel checks. Nacho checks.
Still not too scary a board for Joe's hand, and Ken gave up the lead.
12,000.
Joe bets 12K.
Anything Ken does here other than fold will look strong, so I think his best shot at looking weak is to just call.
That's what you did last time.
When?
12,000.
Last night, Hashem bet 12-5 on the river against the loose cannon. Ken made the call with queens, and Joe showed him 2 pair to take it.
It was 12,500 last time.
Talking when you have a big hand, that's classic loose cannon.
Ken calls. Daniel's done with it.
Nacho's got a gut shot draw.
And mucks.
This isn't a super cooler, so I'm not really sure how much value Ken will be able to get out of Joe.
River. Deuce of spades.
Nacho would have made his gut shot. Don't tilt yet, Nacho.
I'm all in.
He's all in.
Call.
4 jacks, I guess.
4 jack.
Ken shows the quads.
Wow.
Whoops.
I guess.
Wow.
The cannon doubles up.
Nice hand.
If I see the river, wow.
That's what makes sense, I guess.
Okay, now fold everything. And then take your wife and go shopping.
And Ken with ace queen.
I'm noticing a pattern with these couch cannon hands. Raise.
He's on the button. Raise he does to 2,000. Daniel's out. Tilly folds.
A couch cannon walk.
No, Tony's in.
Just to see if I can get it all in as well. And you have quads.
Tony's range is super wide, not too worried.
I'll make it a big pot though.
Joe, I thought he was the protector of the cannons. Queen, jack 10, top pair for the cannon.
Tony's first to act.
Bets 5,000.
This is a super easy call. Top pair, gut shot, backdoor diamonds. Tony fires constantly with all kinds of nonsense. Call. Call, 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 call.
And Ken calls.
Attaboy, Ken.
For the turn. Deuce of hearts.
All right, backdoor diamonds are out, so there goes one piece of the pie.
Tony G fires 10K.
But yes, Ken has to call again. We had too many reasons to call on the flop. Still plenty left now.
He does.
Wow. I like your hand. You want to swap hands?
I'm not scared till Tony bombs it.
River 10 of spades. There's your bomb, 35K.
If there's one thing I've learned on the big game, it's that Daniel loves the call. But if I've learned two things, the second would be that Tony only bombs when he has it.
There goes all the profit.
He should fold harder than someone who makes paper mache at a poster board.
You have a good chance of winning the hand if you call.
He was begging at that point. That was begging. I wasn't sure. And then he begged at the river.
So Ken folds. Let's see if he made the right decision. Tony G with Queen 10 full boat.
Made a good lay down there, Ken.
I had a full house.
The former world champion with ace deuce.
Hold on, Kenny.
Hashem raises to 2,500. Ken's acted out of turn.
With Big Slick.
What's that 1K chip over there?
Sorry. Sorry. I threw it in out of hand. Sorry.
Okay.
You can take it back. Don't worry. I mean,
You can't take it back.
No, I can call you. I can call you 25. Yeah.
you can call or you can fold and leave the 1K. Actually, that's the exact rules. But
You can't.
Sorry, Joe.
That's okay. You can't.
Doesn't matter. Ken was calling anyway.
Until he calls with her 6 tray. Tony G's out.
it's a friendly game. Are you folded, Tony?
Yeah, I folded.
Nacho, 7 deuce. Mucks it. Flop. Ace 10 5 rainbow. Ken with top.
And he's got Hashem out kicked. Jennifer whiffed.
And checks.
This has just not been Joe's week. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and say it's been long enough since the main event win, Joe. You're allowed to complain about it.
C bets 4,500.
Very easy call for Ken.
Doesn't look like he's just calling, Joe. He's got the gray chips. Raises to 12K. Till he's out.
This is a dry board and his rep is super tight, so Ken might not get any action.
Why don't you pick on somebody else? You only find the nuts against me?
Although maybe that's what he wants.
I think you might be making a move here, though, just to prove a point. You making a move? Mr. Policeman? So you know all the tricks. Don't respond, keep your breathing steady, look at one spot and don't move your eyes, then close your eyes. He knows all the tricks. How am I going to get information out of him?
He raised you. Action still on Hashem, facing a raise.
Hashem calls.
Action.
It's funnier because he said it with an accent. Ken's a huge favorite here.
Turn card. Jack of spades.
Nacho's loving this.
I love this game.
Hashem checks.
Value spot here.
And Hrankowski checks.
Checking's okay, but he probably missed a bet.
River 10 pairs the board. Hashem checks again.
River's a pretty easy value bet.
And Ken checks it down. And he'll win.
Joe didn't want to go for it this time. He didn't want to go for the big one.
I nearly did, actually.
Yeah, probably because you had an ace.
Oh, you would have got it.
Joe shows the ace.
That would have been a good move.
I'm just your little huh? Just keep giving me money.
But with the 10 and the jack there, I figured you had an ace, but
Nice hand, Ken.
I'm very satisfied, Amanda. I mean, I would have loved to take home a lot more. I would have loved to take the passport home, but I'm taking home more than $50,000 and being recently retired. I mean, that represents a year's salary to me.